Alright, I just had my first game against Tenpai Dragon. Okay, actually, my second game, technically, because I've played against it in real life once. But this was a pretty cool game, I'll be honest. Let's sneak a look at his list. I haven't actually looked at this yet. Pretty standard Tenpai list, I'd say, probably. They're all like URs, basically. Kaiman's a UR. He pulled out the Sangan Summoning, and I will tell you, this card is really hard to get rid of in most decks, including the deck I'll be piloting. Branded. However, this ain't your mama's branded, so let's check it out. You know, I'll make it public even. The world needs to see this. So remember, this is like first game against Tenpai ever. They're gonna play a lot of hand traps because it's Tenpai, right? And they drew a good amount. I start off with, you know, Sword Soul combo. They're like, no, don't do that. Me, of course, knowing that my regular combo has like choke points, I'm like, no, actually, we want to have more than one choke point, and I just play two decks at once. I drew into nothing here. I just wanted to try Albion to try and draw into something, because whatever I was getting off the High Spirits wasn't going anywhere. Make Albion here. Here, he thought about this one long and hard, but he's going to pop my Albion. This will actually severely weaken my end board. But it also, we just don't have the Ludelian, which kind of hurts, especially since we sent the Druid's Worm. But we will be sending our ace in the hole here. If you've never read this card, this guy fucking says kill Tenpai, and that's all he does. He's literally here just to annoy Tenpai, Yubel, and Snake Eye. And it works. He dusters my Retribution here, you know, it is what it is. He pulls out the Dora Dora, and I immediately know, oh gosh, it's so Jover. Because, you know, what happened last time I played against this is it was over before it begun, and especially with this card, Sangan Summoning, I'm like, we gotta change something to that or else he becomes unaffected. And this will trigger the rest of my cards, and the rest of my cards, like the Abyss Dragon Sword Soul, will be very deadly here. The Abyss Dragon Sword Soul says, target a card. Okay, I didn't know that it also protected Dora Dora, but you know, I would have banished Genroku otherwise. Oh no, minor mistake. That didn't cost me the game. I summoned the Fallen of Albaz here because I don't want him doing shenanigans with this Chandra. And we just make sprint. And he copes. He lost to the fucking Abyss Dragon Sword Soul. He can't believe. Some people will simply never see it coming. And here's the deck profile. Now, if you look at this and you go, why is SP in here? You're looking at it wrong, buddy. This card's been crazy. So yeah, this list is really hard to pilot, but it's really fun. I won't say it's good, but it's probably the single most fun deck I have ever made in Yu-Gi-Oh! So I'll play it for as long as I can. There are, of course, some like joke cards in here. The Albaz the Ashen, I don't really need him, but you know, I like him. He's funny. He prevents targeting, which is actually, shit becomes a lot more annoying. But he's almost always guaranteed a dead card, and at best is the Fallen of Albaz on field and engrave. Like, yeah, that's pretty bad. The Abyss Dragon Sword Soul. This card is a card that I put in way before Tenpai came out because I noticed, hey, this effect comes up like against a lot of modern decks nowadays. Like Yubel uses a field spell, so like it's live. Against Yubel though, this one's really risky because it has high attack and defense. So like, yeah, maybe don't do it against Yubel, but against Snake Eye, Dude, this Banish Flamberge, Banish Field Spell, what do they do? Summon the second one. That's what they do. But most of the time, they're not going to have enough gas for that. Okay, so you didn't get to see it, but my deck has a massive Synchro pool. We play Adrian because it's the lore card. Most of the time we play Adrian anyways. Depending on what's in my graveyard, I actually like going into Fleur. For no other reasons. I like using that effect specifically, and I don't want to win my games that easily sometimes. Masochistic, I know, but it is what it is. I'm still debating this card. I had Cosmic, Heavy Storm, and Duster in the deck, and, you know, it's cool when you draw into one of them. It's less cool when they're all in your hand. And another thing you might notice is I don't like multiples in my hand. That, if anything pisses me off, it's multiples of hard ones per turn cards. They're really annoying. So that's why you play 60 cards. That's why you play like mostly one of every hand trap. I only play one of this because, you know, cross out. Ash, I would want to cut. The only reason why, Ash probably never going to leave just because it's a cross out target. But, you know, because they're not high spirits targets. Every other card in this deck is a high spirits target, including Moya. You can send Mirror Jade. You can be like, nah, fuck the win condition. We're playing Sword Soul. So, it's cool. Herald of the Abyss, you know, in case Pearly decides to show up. One deck this deck can't really beat, at least not easily, is we kind of get Giga-pwned by Raid Raptors. But against most decks, this is going to be pretty fun. Another one, my favorite card in this deck, the Golden Sword Soul. It comes up more often than you think. You can trigger... Okay, so he only triggers when a monster gets banished face up. This is annoying, but... you know, you got Bystials. Chi-Xiao triggers this, by the way. What else is really notable here? I recently put Dark Ruler in because I've noticed that my deck gets progressively stronger the more turns it gets. And nowadays, decks are really, really fond of killing turn 1. I've even put Waboku in this deck once. I felt that it clogged up my hand more than it did anything. So, maybe don't play Waboku. If we had side decks, I'd put Waboku in there, actually. The other surprising card, Iris Sword Soul. Sometimes you just want more damage, and you have Ecclesia on the field. And sometimes you just want to draw 2 off of your opponent's Welcome Labyrinth, which is pretty cool. Another sneaky card effect that this one has is when your opponent summons one from hand, is you can summon a bunch of your guys, and since they expect you to be playing Sword Souls, they're like, oh, at worst, they're gonna summon Moya in a tuner, right? Well, turns out you can also summon Ecclesia back. You can summon, I don't know, the Fallen of Albaz and just fuse. You can summon Quem. Also, it's pretty guaranteed. If this ever triggers, it's a special summon from hand. This guy, summon into Sprint. You know, it's pretty easy. You know, I wish Ash was a machine. I wish Maxi was a machine. Would be cool. Would be nice. Otherwise... Oh yeah, we play Sword Soul Emergence only because we can tack it, and it's not bad in hand ever, so just play it. Etude of the Branded. Oof. This card is... Sometimes when you see this card in your hand, your eyes start glowing, and you have to watch the Snake Eyes player summon Poplar, get, you know, the Snake Eye original Sinful Spoil, you know, the rare that puts a guy in your spell trap zone, because they can't out the Bystial that is currently just kind of saying, okay, Snake Eye, play under Macrocosmos. Because Here, while you control a bestial monster, banish any monsters that would be sent to your opponent's graveyard as tributes for ritual or as material for fusion, synchro, and link summon. Really fucks them up. It's super funny. It's so funny. I've seen so many people like make Sprite Elf and then just concede. It's so good. It's so good. This plus like also another thing people don't understand is if you have like a level, if you have Bestial on your field and like any level 4 tuner, you can just make Chaos Angel during your opponent's turn, or Bestial Dissipator, or Baron de Fleur. And if Baron gets banned, you can just make Chengying during your opponent's turn or whatever. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I like it. Branded in White also comes up pretty often, but if you draw it in your opener and you don't see the golden boy, it's like, wow, this card really is here to do nothing. Unfortunately, its effect where it returns to your field during the end phase, I think I've triggered it twice ever, and I've never been able to use it while it's on the field. Maybe once. So, yeah, and we got like 1,300 hours in this game. So, ooh, this is an unusual card. Sword Soul Punishment. I keep going between this and Sword Soul Blackout because at least the Blackout is still live if you can get the Mirror Jade because it's a worm. Also, if you banish the Blackout with Chixiao, it summons a tuner. Either as the cost for the, for the negate, or by its effect, you can, get the level 4 tuner. You can go into Lulualith if you want to. You can go in, if you have another monster, you can go into another 8. I used to play Omega in this, or the Tenyi level 8. It's playing on a different axis, and people get really confused. They usually stay pretty long. The games are pretty long too. Which usually just says your deck is shit. You decide. Look at this one. This one, same concept, but much less consistent execution. You just play so many engines that if they stop one, you try to play another. And it's really good. The funniest card in this is probably Fallen of Argyros. Which is the least good sprite card in your entire deck, but at least it's good going second. Because if they have a 2 on the field, you can summon it for free. And like if they have Oppo on the field, you can just summon it to Oppo and they suddenly don't have their negate beam anymore. Because it negates the effect of... Neither player can activate the effects of link monsters that point to this card. Hey, Oppo points to my zones too, so get fucked. If you want to, I can go over this deck in more detail. I used to play Maxi in this. I removed them because I wanted to play this on dual Taining. But Wolt was like, no, it doesn't have a guaranteed payoff. Fuck you. So, whatever. When is White Woods coming out? I've saved up so many gems. Hope you enjoyed. This deck is exhausting to like think about, but it's great. I love it.